Our verse for this morning is Ezekiel 33:30. It says, "As for you, son of man, your people are talking together about you by the walls and at the doors of the houses, saying to each other, 'Come and hear the message that has come from the Lord.'" History is an exciting, or I'll say an interesting thing. It's my favorite in school. We study it in school, and we commemorate events. We commemorate it on national holidays. But do we learn from these events? Do we learn? Have we improved? Okay, are we growing because of these things that we are remembering? The Old Testament is full of history. Ayaw natin na i-mishandle ito or sabihin na obsolete na ito. We don't just flip past it. Behind the history, behind the stories, okay, the foreign customs and complex family trees, you'll find a lot of strange names there na hindi mo siguro gagamitin na maging anak, ay maging pangalan ng iyong susunod na anak, ano? Kidding aside, I'm saying there's so much we can learn, and particularly about what not to do, things that we should avoid. First, let's set the scene. When Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon, he's the mighty ruler of this great empire. Babylon is the modern-day Iraq. When Nebuchadnezzar first attacked Jerusalem, he took many Jewish captives. Okay? And as years passed, he finally destroyed the city of Jerusalem. He destroyed Israel. Their future looked bleak. This was when the prophet Ezekiel showed up with a message from God explaining the course of events. So what went wrong? Okay? So number one, looking elsewhere. The Israelites had lost sight of God. Dapat sa Panginoon sila nakatingin. Dapat ang Panginoon ang hinahanap nila. Dapat ang kanilang direction ay manggagaling sa Kanya. But they were looking elsewhere. They began to put other things first. Sounds familiar? What about our jobs? What about your work, spouse, child, career, finances? These things are not wrong until they begin to replace God in our lives. They start to become idols, robbing God's position or rightful place in our hearts. What about the sinful habits and secret sins na akala natin hindi malalaman, akala natin hindi madidiscover? All of this is looking elsewhere. Pangalawa, a community of violence. Recent newspaper headlines reveal just how many similarities yung mundo natin ngayon, yung mga tao ngayon, meron doon sa ancient Israel. As we argue, justify, and harm one another with weapons in our homes and on the streets, we see a parallel to the community of violence in Israel. Pangatlo, no desire to change. The Israelites became content in their sins. Hindi na sila nababother. Siguro pwede nating sabihin na desensitized na sila sa bagay na kasalanan sa harap ng Diyos. They listened to Ezekiel and they even agreed with much of what he said, but ganun pa rin sila. Their lives did not change. They continued to accept and justify their wrongs. They were committing from adultery to dishonest business practices and everything in between. Naririnig nila yung tama, alam nila kung ano yung hindi dapat, pero doon pa rin sila nagstay sa mga ginagawa nilang hindi kaaya-aya sa harap ng Panginoon. They had no desire to change. So, the root of all these problems was pride. From ancient Israel to even the people of today, the danger of pride is when it begins to replace our reliance on God with a false sense of self-sufficient security. This can lead to all kinds of problems. Relationally, professionally, and within our culture as a whole. Let me ask you, are you struggling with pride? What changes do you need to make? It won't be easy, I know, but it is possible to learn from the past to stop history from repeating itself in your life. Pagpalain ng Diyos ang kanyang salita sa ating puso at nawa ito'y maging pagpapala, maging source ng paggabay ng Panginoon sa atin sa araw na ito. Have a blessed day. God be with you.